This is Lagos, the sixth largest city in the world by city population and home to the biggest markets in Africa. If Lagos was a country, it would be the fifth largest in Africa. From Alaba International Market to Computer Village Ikeja, the city's economy is powered by thousands of small-scale businesses. Running a successful business in a place like Lagos is not for the lazy, dull, or faint-hearted. One thing stands out like a sore thumb in every market or even house you visit: the noise of hundreds of power generators working tirelessly to provide the power needed for these businesses to run on a daily basis. For a long time, NEPA, which was the public power distribution company, has been unable to deliver regular power supply to its citizens. Even after privatizing and changing the name to PHCN, the problem remained unchanged.
My name is Madam Ngozi Ndarak. This is my shop. It's a provision store. Since there's no light, it really affects business. You know, the weather is very hot. Everybody needs something cool. But whereby when they come, you say no light. So it brings business down. Nothing is moving forward. More especially this period. This is our season to sell drinks and nothing is happening. How long can we continue buying block? Buying block in a day, 500 naira. Even you are running gen. Now fuel is very expensive. How much are you making in a provision store? So it's really affecting us. We are begging the government to come and help us. This period, we really need light.
The reliance on generators to deliver power daily is so much that these generators break down frequently due to overuse. It is said that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. Nothing can be farther from the truth as captured in this image. An image that captures the sad reality of how the average Nigerian can't survive without using a generator set. The majority of these generators, after a long period of use, eventually find their way to different junkyards across the country. This same junkyard is where we find a young man who has a vision to turn junks to astounding works of art.
My name is Dotun Popoola. I'm an artist, a painter and a sculptor. I studied fine art from Auchi Polytechnic and Obafemi Awolowo University. And I finished 2008 from the university, and I did my master's degree in painting. My first degree was in sculpture, and since then I've been practicing both my painting and my sculpture.
As a student in Obafemi Awolowo University, Dotun showed signs of brilliance and uniqueness, so much that some of his works adorn the Department of Fine and Applied Art till date.
But my journey into synergetic metal sculpture started since 2015. where I went to the United States to learn how to weld with a MIG welder and a plasma cutter. So on getting back to Nigeria, I started picking junks from junkyard and assembling them to create a stunning sculpture.
This redefined the direction of his work, and this was the beginning of his journey into what we see now. Getting back to Nigeria, Dotun no longer looked at junks and scraps the same way again. His mindset had changed. From bad spark plugs to spoons, discarded generator fuel tanks, bicycle spokes, everything became a valuable tool in his hands.
So ka your scale ti ka make ka won wo ni báyìí. Okay. Kò ní ṣe we bá mi mú scale left measure. Báyìí ni
I call myself a synergetic metal sculptor because, the sculptures are made out of discarded automobile parts, kitchen utensils, generator parts, and different ferrous and non-ferrous metal. So I pile them together most of the time to create animals, to create different kind of, form of hybrid sculpture. Kind of. So in a way, I use them to communicate on social or societal issues, especially a country like Nigeria, where I was born. I mean, I'm still a Nigerian, and I see the way things are going on here. So I'm able to use my sculpture as a metaphor. At the same time, my sculptures are more like what you could refer to as recycled art or repurposed art.
Dotun's art is loud on transformation and giving second chances. Nothing is useless. Nothing is a waste.
The first experience I had while transforming waste to wealth in Nigeria, I did one chicken. I used spark plugs and kitchen utensils. I blend two of them together, and in a way it looks gorgeous, it looks beautiful. And that was the first experiment I did, showcasing it in Lagos, in a gallery in Lagos, and the response to it was awesome. Most of the time I always say I create wealth from waste. I transform rubbish to rubies. And I create, making the dead scraps, bringing life out of them. And I feel I love what I do, and I feel I'm able to tell my own story through metal sculptures.
Dotun's work and the impact in the minds of people is a drive that I feel like for a lot of people, you always want to think outside the box and do things. I mean, for anybody who's young, you also have to think that, if you see what he does, especially if you link it with where he's coming from, his story, you can tell that at the end of the day, anybody can make it out of anywhere. I mean, he's just a young guy. I mean, a young boy. I'm sure when he started doing all of these things, people probably laugh at him and think he's crazy. But then he has made art into taking what people didn't even care about and made it into something superbly magical. So in the minds of a lot of people, the impact is almost unprecedented. So for a lot of young guys out there, because of what he does, now you want to go to school and learn art. Seeing his work and seeing his life, you almost think that, you know what, it's even more beautiful to think that I can do certain things and things that people will never really understand or believe in and still make it. Apart from that, you want to also think that, you know what, I can make things with my hands and be successful.
For me, creating a sculpture is like a journey. And I start that journey by going to a secluded place for meditation and creative thinking. Most times I get emotional with my works, especially when I'm done with them and about to deliver to clients. Sometimes I don't feel like delivering them. I feel like having them, because every piece of art is a brainchild. Before I start the major sculpture, I do what I call critical anatomy study. For instance, I'm to make a Mira bull, a Spanish fighting bull. So I take time to do different studies and drawings. After creating different studies and drawings, then I produce my clay model of the piece I want to make, then cast it either in bronze or in fiberglass. And that particular clay model, the small clay model, is what I now transfer into a larger scale. So most times is enough of studies before rendering the main work.
It is very hard to have a sculpture of an animal and you're so precise about it, how he builds it from scrap. Like, for example, I think one of his work that really attracted me was the bull, and it's not very easy, from the design to the detailing to the alignment, of an animal, even as far as seeing a real picture of a bull. You can put it closely to what his work and they'll be exactly the same thing. So I was blown by that work. He liked the kind of things I represent, the embodiment of my work, because a lot of guys know me as the energy god. I'm one of the biggest party rocker in Africa. Like, I started a craft that is way different from what everybody understands. So I think he also liked that part of me, and he wanted to I'm sure he didn't know how to replicate that into his work, but thank God for our friend who's an art buff who loves art. Just gifted me as a birthday gift, because I didn't even know, I didn't see it coming, because I was talking about his work, and I didn't even think he does human figures. So I think I was one of the first that commercially that he actually built. Now the thing is, there was a lot of work put into that. It took them months. The head alone was sent to Benin twice. These guys took a picture of myself. They crafted it. It took months to get my detail my face to get the actual look of what I am. Now, it's not just that, it's the embodiment and the composure of a sculptor representing a person, and I'm looking at it every morning and it reminds me of who I am. It makes me feel good.
When people see my sculptures, it makes them to rethink, and it makes them to see life in a different perspective. It makes them to reflect, to reminisce on the fact that nothing is actually useless, nothing is actually hopeless, and it makes them to know that life can be transformed from trash to treasure. Life can change from the abandoned position to a relevant position, and it makes them to have more hope in their future.
For Dotun Popoola's work, what he does is he sees the good in rubbles, he sees the good in scrap, he sees the good in there, and looked at it and thought about it many times and what he feels this is going to become, and then the beauty is it brings it to life.
Sometimes the junks that I pick speaks to me and gives me a clearer picture of what I could make out of it, and some other time I create designs out of the natural mechanical junks. So between the natural junks and fabricated metal is what I coin as my own synergetic sculpture. That is, I have some metal that I fabricate myself. Then I have some metal that I use them the way they are naturally. So I fuse the two together. And once you see my sculptures like this is picked from the junk the way it is, and this is fabricated. So this curve you're seeing here is made, it's a rod that I bent it myself, and this is a natural junk. This is a silencer from the car. So this is a brake pad, and it's definitely it's very industrially fabricated, and this is manually fabricated by me. So I use the plasma cutter to cut all these designs from this metal sheet, and so I assemble all of them together to create my work. So when you see my piece, you will see alloys, which is more like a shining silver. You see bronze, more like a brass. You see rust metal, and you see painted metal. So you see all these things fused together in one piece. So that's what I call synergetic metal sculpture, and that's what I've been doing for the past for the past 2-3 years now.
It also teaches us a lot more about recycling. In a way, you think he's just doing, taking all stuff and making it and building a work, but he also teaches me in different ways that, all these things we throw away are very, very useful, from cans to, to all scrap. And those are the things he has used to build art that even kings, queens now want to go for it.
Dotun's work has received international attention, as he recently had an exhibition in Dubai alongside other international upcycling sculptors. In a time when Nigeria is getting negative reviews and backlash due to online fraud and bad leadership, Dotun is putting the country in a positive light with his unique works.
My name is Dotun Popoola. I am a sculptor with passion for excellence. I am proudly African, and I am proudly Nigerian.
There's one thing about Dotun Popoola that everybody should understand, is Dotun Popoola and scrap are best friends.